The confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 566,005. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 8,568. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 2,828, with total confirmed deaths at 78. We anticipate those numbers to change as the county updates its last 24-hour operating period. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Ben McCain. It's 4 p.m. on Thursday, December 17th. California continues to see the largest surge in COVID-19 cases. A record-breaking number of new coronavirus cases were reported throughout the state on Wednesday at 53,711 and more than 52,000 today. The death toll is also seeing a stark increase, with 379 deaths reported due to the virus just in the last 24 hours, bringing the state's total number of deaths to 21,860. Nearly 15,000 Californians remain hospitalized with the virus and 3,188 patients currently in the ICU. So far, more than 1.7 million positive cases have been reported since the start of the pandemic. Hospitalizations also continue to rise at unprecedented levels, and here in LA County, emergency rooms are also being strained, according to the latest data released this afternoon from the state's public health department. The current available intensive care unit capacity is now at 0%, which puts the Southern California region into a surge. This could mean repurposing normal and emergency room beds into ICU beds and reassigning medical staff to assist with the overwhelming number of patients in the ICU. California's Department of Public Health rolled out an expedited process for hospitals to increase the number of patients nurses can treat at one time, from 2 patients to now 3 patients, which nurses say could put patients in danger. Governor Newsom also announced that asymptomatic healthcare workers exposed to the virus can return to work after a week of quarantining instead of the previously recommended 2 weeks due to a shortage of medical workers at hospitals. Meanwhile, here in Torrance, a spokesperson with Providence Little Company of Mary says they're nearly full in the ICU. Torrance Memorial says they currently have just a few ICU beds remaining. And an emergency medicine physician at Harbor UCLA says she is afraid that they will run out of ICU beds if current trends continue. Well, local hospitals in Torrance are gearing up to administer the COVID-19 vaccine as early as today. According to Providence Little Company of Mary Medical Center, their medical staff will be first to receive the vaccine beginning today. Providence, Southern California, has 11 hospitals across 3 counties, with the closest location right here in Torrance. After healthcare workers receive their shots, the hospital group will follow federal recommendations on vaccines for vulnerable groups that are next in line. They also expect to receive the Moderna vaccine once it becomes available. Torrance Memorial Medical Center officials say they will begin to administer the vaccine as early as Sunday. California Governor Newsom says the state will receive 327,600 doses in the first allotment, and another 393,900 doses are expected from Pfizer for next week. And pending federal approval, 672,600 doses of the Moderna vaccine will be shipped by the end of the month. The goal is to receive as many as 2.16 million total doses by the end of the year. As medical workers line up for the first round of COVID-19 vaccines, many are wondering who will be next. Well, essential workers, including teachers, first responders, farm workers, restaurant employees, florists, and sawmill operators, all fall under the broad category of essential workers that are expected to be next to receive the vaccine. California's 16-member panel of medical experts will recommend who should go next after the first round of about 3 million vaccines go to healthcare workers this week, as well as those in long-term care facilities. Recommendations for the next round of about 8 million doses expected early next year include about 1.4 million education and child care providers, a category that includes K through 12 preschools and higher education, including trade schools. 1.1 million emergency service producers, including not only police and fire, but those who provide child and youth services, shelters, social services for the elderly and those with disabilities, as well as the criminal justice system and businesses that provide goods used by the safety workers. then roughly 3.4 million to food and agriculture workers, grocers, bakers, florists, community food services, and pharmacies. Ride-sharing companies Ubers and Lyft are asking state legislators, President-elect Joe Biden, along with Centers for Disease Control, to allow their drivers to be deemed essential in order to move them up in priority of people waiting to get the vaccine. Uber is taking a public stand that its food and delivery and ride-hailing drivers should be among the first to have access to the COVID-19 vaccine. While the first wave of the vaccine in the U.S. will cover around 20 million people by the end of the year, officials say enough doses for 100 million people are expected by the end of February 2021. Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi says over the last 9 months, these workers have been a lifeline to their communities. They've transported healthcare workers to hospitals, delivered food to people socially distancing at home, and helped local restaurants stay in business. Drivers are among the more than 20 large industries that have urged public officials to prioritize their workers for the vaccine. The Food and Drug Administration Advisory Committee is expected to approve Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine for emergency authorization today. The panel of physicians and medical researchers are said to likely endorse this second vaccine so it can join the fight against the pandemic. Health officials met today for a public review of Moderna's vaccine safety and effectiveness and invited the public to join in. The FDA's Duran Fink opened the day-long meeting, reminding the public that the agency's review would be transparent, scientifically sound, and data-driven. Experts say approving Moderna's vaccine will boost the largest vaccination effort in U.S. history. Now, Moderna's vaccine is much like the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, which relies on the same technology of training the immune system to detect and fight the virus, both requiring 2 doses several weeks apart. The FDA found the vaccine was more than 94% effective overall at preventing COVID-19. No major safety problems were found, and side effects typically seen with vaccinations were common as fever, fatigue, and muscle aches. If authorized today, U.S. officials said the initial shipment of nearly 6 million doses would go to healthcare workers and nursing homes. The main difference between this vaccine and Pfizer's is that this can be stored at regular freezing temperatures. As Hanukkah winds down tomorrow and Christmas is just a week away, health officials are urging the public to cancel any upcoming plans with people outside of their household and stay home as much as possible. As COVID-19 cases soar, data shows average daily deaths have increased nearly 600% since a month ago. Officials say 1 in 80 people in the county are now infected with COVID-19, and on average, every hour, 2 people in the county are dying from the virus. The county's public health director, Dr. Barbara Ferrer, urged the public on Wednesday's press briefing to stay home and follow the safety protocols that they've been reiterating like a mantra, which includes wearing face masks, social distancing, and avoiding gatherings. And with the COVID-19 vaccine now making its way to hospitals in the county, the public is invited to join the Los Angeles County COVID-19 Vaccine Town Hall taking place virtually tonight. Learn about the vaccine, how it was developed, where it will be distributed in the communities, and when it will be made available to the general public. The town hall takes place tonight from 6 to 7:30 p.m. and will stream live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at LA Public Health. The California Department of Public Health released new guidelines for indoor and outdoor youth and adult recreation sports today. According to the state, inter-team competitions will not be allowed until at least January 25th. State officials will revisit this plan during the first week of January to see if any changes need to be made. Now, during this time, players and teams are allowed to practice with safety measures and protocols in place. The new guidelines are categorized by indoor and outdoor sports and are classified in 3 categories: low contact, moderate contact, and high contact. The sports are then grouped based on risk tier. For Southern California's region, which is the state's purple and most restrictive tier, only outdoor low contact sports, which includes golf, tennis, and swimming, are allowed to compete. Once the county reaches the red tier, sports like baseball, softball, and cheerleading will be able to compete. Then outdoor high contact sports like football, lacrosse, Rugby and volleyball would not be allowed to compete until they move into the orange moderate tier. And high indoor contact sports like basketball, boxing, ice hockey, soccer, water polo, and wrestling would not be allowed to compete until the county moves up to the state's yellow and least restrictive tier level. Congressional leaders may be one step closer to sealing a coronavirus relief deal to the tune of nearly $900 billion. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says a bipartisan agreement was close at hand as legislators work out the details of the bill. Senate leaders say a COVID-19 stimulus deal may be close, but warns they may not pass a bill until the weekend as they try to close the gap of the remaining differences. This includes a renewal of the Paycheck Protection Program for small business loan forgiveness funds for vaccine development and distribution, funds for more COVID testing and protective gear for schools, a renewal of unemployment benefits, as well as a direct stimulus payment. Now, the package is not expected to include liability protections for employees or money for state and local aid, which Democrats had demanded. Dropping those two provisions have helped pave the way for the agreement. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told reporters that negotiators made progress this morning. Congress also faces a shutdown deadline tomorrow as government funds are set to lapse in less than 24 hours. While Congress passed a short-term bill extending funding for 1 week to give lawmakers more time to negotiate, top lawmakers warn they may need to push the deadline a few days more to give them time to finish making the deal. Unemployment claims continue to rise again with 885,000 new claims. According to the U.S. Labor Department, their latest reports show that at 9 months into the pandemic, employers are still slashing jobs as more businesses are faced with restrictions through most of December. Now, before the pandemic erupted in March, weekly jobless claims averaged about 225,000, a drastic change to the numbers seen today. The total number of people receiving traditional state unemployment benefits fell to 5.5 million, which is being attributed to the fact that many are not receiving aid as it may have run out, which typically expires after 6 months. A local teen that participated in a national campaign to create awareness for safe driving was named runner-up. Congratulations to Madeline Lee, a 17-year-old student from West High School, for winning the second-place spot in the National Road Safety Foundation's Drive Safe California Public Safety Announcement Contest. Students were asked to create a concept for a 30-second ad to warn drivers about the dangers of speeding, which is a factor in 26% of all fatal traffic collisions, killing more than 9,000 people each year. The winner will work with an Emmy award-winning director to film the student's concept and make it into a PSA that will be broadcast on more than 150 TV stations nationwide. It will also be shown at the LA Auto Show in May 2021. The contest was open to teens ages 13 to 19. The first place winner is a teen from Watsonville, California. Speaking of safety, the Torrance Police Department is reminding the public about the importance of being safe and sober when driving, especially around the holidays. While COVID-19 is changing how many are celebrating the holidays, local authorities are asking the community to help keep the streets safe by staying at home and using a designated sober driver if you plan to drink. Now, impaired driving not only includes driving under the influence of alcohol, but also under the use of prescription medication, over-the-counter drugs, and marijuana, which can impair one's ability to drive safely as well. Due to COVID-19, the state of California is asking residents to avoid large gatherings for the holidays to mitigate the spread of the virus. Well, as we head into the weekend, be sure to tune in to Weekends on Torrance. New episodes air at 2 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Our very own Christine Lee teams up with the Torrance Fire Department to help get the word out about car safety. Plus, if you're thinking about upgrading your bicycle during this pandemic, there's a new shop in downtown Torrance offering a range of unique and affordable bikes to choose from. We'll take you inside. Then tips for spending the holidays with your canine companion, brought to you by Canine Corners, Rhiannon Tritanich. These stories and much more, be sure to tune in this weekend at 2 p.m. You can find us on Spectrum Cable Channel 3, Verizon Fios Channel 31, streaming on our website as well as on YouTube. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community, feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. The Torrance Police Department brought some holiday joy to a local family recently when someone kicked in the family's front door and burglarized their home. Gifts were stolen, so the police department's community affairs officers took matters into their own hands and helped Santa by bringing over gifts for the family. Our first responders truly do wear a hero's cape, not only while fighting crime, but also helping those who need it most. Now, if you have a great story to share, email us at COVID-19today@torranceca.gov. We would love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 Today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday for new episodes of Weekends in Torrance. We'll see you right back here on Monday as Leslie Robbins brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Roseanne Centeno, and I'm an Agricultural Weights and Measures Inspector 3 with the County of Los Angeles, Department of Agricultural Commissioner, Weights and Measures. I am currently assigned to the Weed Abatement Division, where I enforce state fire codes. I'm in charge of about 2,500 vacant parcels. So we do inspections, issue notices of compliance or clearance. And these notices consist of a deadline as well as an estimate for our county crew to go ahead and do the abatement work. Here we have the crew creating a fire break for the homes behind us. They are clearing first off all the weeds and the brush in order to get rid of all the flash fuels. And this creates a defensible space so that firefighters could come in if a fire were to occur. I conduct inspections throughout LA County, and just being outside is the biggest perk for me. And I get to explore areas of LA County that typically the general public wouldn't have access to.
For the sweaty faces and the hidden smiles, the foggy glasses and the sore ears, the determined looks and the muffled laughs. A simple piece of fabric makes a big statement. I care. Let's all do our part to slow the spread. Wear a mask. Learn more at covid19.ca.gov.